What's up, ladies and gentlemen? So, as promised, here is an arms bolt-on workout using nothing but a band. So if you have one of these handy, make sure you go and grab it so you can get through this workout with me. Now I will do it in real time. We will go through 4 exercises, 2 for biceps, 2 for triceps, which will be more than enough even. We are looking for between 3 and 5 sets of each per workout, and we're gonna work them in a superset order, where we do one muscle, and then while that is resting, we work the other muscle, okay? As you will have heard me say in a lot of the circuits, the reason we don't do arms training or any kind of small muscles like biceps, triceps, or too much delts in the actual circuits is because they're not big bang for your buck exercises. They're nice to add into your training sessions for a little bit of extra shape and for some variation. But with regards to actually delivering results quickly, training your arms once or twice a week in isolation is not going to do you much good. And when we have limited time with those circuits, we need to hit big bang for your buck exercises. Squats, rows, lunges, pulls, and presses. Now, with any pull or press movement, you are using your bicep as we flex the elbow, you're using your tricep as you extend the arm, and even to some degree on both of the opposing movements, you're going to engage your bicep and tricep anyway, so they are being worked all of the time, fear not. But I also understand the need for getting that feeling of a pump, for having a small workout where you just want to feel good and you want to go outside with your arms all jacked, or maybe you want to go to the beach or the pool or something like that. So this workout is going to satisfy that need. 2 exercises. The first ones we're going to start with. We'll do 3 sets for the purpose of this video, but as I say, for you, depending on your level of training and your ability to recover, you can go for between 3 and 5 total sets. We are going to do a standing bicep curl, very, very simple, where we stand on the cable like so. Now, depending on how wide you choose to put your feet on that cable, it's going to increase or decrease the resistance. Okay, you can also wrap your hands around like that. Anything to shorten the band is going to help increase resistance. Now, it's important that when we do our curls, we are pinning our elbow into our side. So we're not swinging the elbow forwards like that. We're not kicking it backwards like this. We're pinning it into the side like there was a bar going straight through there, straight through our ribs and out the other side, keeping our arms locked in. We also need to make sure that we depress our shoulder. So we push our shoulder blade back and down, and we keep it there throughout. Okay? So pick up your band. We're going to work through this 3 sets. We'll aim for 10 reps to start with. What I want you to make sure you're doing is squeezing and pausing at the top. The difference between the results you will get is quite often going to be how well you learn how to contract the muscle throughout every single movement. So this first set, we're going to do 10 reps, standing bicep curl with the band. Ideally, pause here if needs be. If you haven't already warmed up before this video, pause here if needs be and warm up, get your joints limber. If you have warmed up, you can start with me right now. So, take the band, feet about shoulder width apart. You can go wider if needs be, or wrap the band around your hands to increase resistance, your choice. What we're gonna do, start with a chest up, shoulders back, and elbows pinned into your sides. We're gonna curl up, flex as hard as we can, and squeeze for 2 seconds at the top. 1, 2, and then slowly down. Then back up, squeeze, flex at the top as hard as you can. 1, 2, slowly down. Up and squeeze, flex. 1, 2, smooth. Now we're gonna get the resistance through tension here. So really, really flex as hard as you can. Smooth down. Up, keeping the elbows pinned into your side. Don't let them swing around. Slowly down. Up and flex. Squeeze the biceps as hard as possible. Slowly down. Up, you're halfway, flex, 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 and think about what's happening here. Are you feeling the biceps? Are your shoulders still in the right position? Is your chest up? Shoulder blades pushed down? Go 3 more. Flex up, flex up, flex up. Forgive me if I lose count. I quite often do when I'm talking. Up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Slowly down, stretch, up. Squeeze as hard as you can. Flex the biceps, pause, and then slowly down. So that's our A1 exercise. A standing bicep curl. Now, next up, our second exercise, A2, is going to be a lying tricep extension. So, as you can see, I've just moved the camera and I have anchored the band to something. Now, you can anchor it to a table leg if it's heavy enough, a door, a tree, a fence post, anything you have that's not going to move. And what we're going to do, we're going to take some tension on that band for our triceps, and we're going to lie down on our back like so. Now, it's important that we keep some tension here. We're not letting this go slack because then the triceps are no longer under load. We're going to take it with a bit of slack in the middle so we can extend our arms out to the side. Once we have this position, we're going to extend our hands towards the ceiling and we're going to flex the triceps as hard as possible, locking them out. Then slowly lowering down and back, then up and squeeze, flex as hard as possible. Now again, remember, if it's too easy, take the cable further back. You've got to challenge yourself, slowly down, slowly down, slowly down. Flex up, squeeze as hard as possible, give it a pause at the top. Slowly down, flex as hard as possible. Now the further away you move from that anchor point, the better. Obviously it's difficult for me because I need to stay in shot. So you make your choice as to how hard you want this to be. As we're coming up, we're separating the hands and we're trying to drive the wrists out to really flex those triceps at the top. Smooth down, up and squeeze, flex as hard as possible. Don't come back down until you feel that flex. Up and squeeze, flex as hard as possible. And down, flex up. Gonna go 2 more. So aiming always around 10 to 12 reps on this. Maximum tension you can deliver. Squeeze, steady down. Should be really burning if you've got this right. Squeeze and steady down. As I say, don't be afraid to increase resistance by moving away from the anchor point, or you can even do it on an inclined bench if you have access to one. So we're going to go back to our A1 exercise now, the bicep curl. Okay, so back onto the bicep curl. This time I'm going to increase the resistance a little bit because it was a little bit too easy for me last time. So I've wrapped my hands around the cable and I've taken my feet out wider. So from here we pin the elbows into the side, chest up, shoulders back, and then up, flex, pause, squeeze like crazy. 1, stretch down, up, pause, squeeze, 2. Focus on building up that tension in the bicep. Squeeze, 3, stretch, up, squeeze, 4, down, up, squeeze, flex the biceps hard, 5, stretch down, up, squeeze, squeeze, 6, up, flex them hard, make them work, focus on that tension, down, squeeze up, keeping the elbows pinned, we're not shifting everything around, we still have our posture, shoulder blades are pinned down in towards the center of our back, big pause at the top, this pause is important, so don't get lazy on it, bam, stretch down, up, flex as hard as possible, aiming for between 10 and 12, so we're going for 1 more, up, squeeze as hard as possible, make those biceps work hard, and slowly down, unrack the band. That was set 2 of our A1 exercise, standing bicep curl. I'm going to change the camera again. We're going to go back down to our triceps with an anchor point. So this gives you a chance to get down there. Right, coming in for set 2 of our lying tricep extension. Now bear in mind what happened last time. Do you need to move further away from the anchor point to get increased resistance? Do you need to wrap it a few times around your hand? The point is we really, really need to make those triceps work hard. So do whatever's necessary to get the absolute most out of every single set. So I'm going to move a little bit further away. Hopefully you can still see me in camera, you sure can. And then we go from here. So, got that slack, take the tension, up, flex my triceps as hard as possible, rotate my wrists and turn out, then slowly down. Stretch, up, squeeze, slowly down. Stretch, up, squeeze, flexing. So we're literally just pushing towards the sky. I'm not trying to pull up that way, I'm pushing straight towards the ceiling. 3, up, 4, rotate the wrists, slowly down, feel those triceps engage. 5, pause at the top and squeeze like crazy. Smooth down, stretch. 6, smooth down, stretch, up and flex. 7, we're gonna go 3 more. Make those triceps burn just by squeezing them incredibly hard. You're gonna get out what you put in. So make sure you're working to deliver maximum tension into the target muscle at all times. Bam, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I'm gonna go 1 more just for luck, which I think is 11. Up and squeeze, flex, and down. That's the second set of our A2 exercise, lying triceps extension. Grab a quick drink, 1 more set, standing bicep curls, and then back to this. Okay, here we are again, back up top for our A1 exercise, set 3. So, monitor the tension. Do you need more? Do you need less? Are you going to need to use a bigger band? I'm going to curl my hands around this one again, and with a wide footprint. In 3, 2, 1, curl up. Remember, we have our shoulder blades tucked back, we have our chest up, tummy button in, elbows pinned to the side. Flex hard at the top. 2, up, squeeze. 3, I'm going to show you this from the side. Up, squeeze. 4, my elbows are always under control. 5, smooth, flex for 2, slowly down. Notice how I'm not bringing my elbow underneath the cable, nor am I kicking it backwards. I'm keeping it exactly in center, and the resistance is arcing around that joint. Stretch, squeeze, smooth down once we've hit our pause. Stretch, squeeze, smooth down. I'm gonna go for 3 more. Stretch out, open up. Remember, you go for 10 to 12. Sometimes I'll lose my count because I'm talking. Stretch, up and squeeze, steady down. Open it up, stretch, squeeze like crazy, steady down. Boom. Okay, so that is our 3rd set of our A1 exercise, standing bicep curl. Remember all of those teaching points. Shoulder blades push back and down like we learn in the classes. Elbows tucked into your sides, and don't allow the arm to shift backwards and forwards. We're keeping a nice simple variation where the weight arcs around the target muscle. Onto A2. Okay, now we're down to 3rd set of exercise A2. Again, our lying tricep extension. Maximum amount of tension you can deliver. I'm gonna actually hook my feet over something at this end, and then once we're in position, we take our grip on the band and we try to deliver maximum tension into that target muscle by extending, flexing, rotating the wrists, holding it as hard as possible for at least 2 seconds, and then down. Up, flex. The target muscle is all the way along here. Make those triceps work. Slowly down. Up, flex, squeeze, down. Up, flex, smooth back down. Squeeze those triceps as hard as you possibly can. Make them burn. Up, squeeze, 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 and down. Up, squeeze as hard as you possibly can. We're keeping the shoulders nice and stable. We're not letting anything rock around without control. If the rep looks tidy, it's probably going to be quite effective. I'm going to go for 3 more. Stretch down. Remember, always go for 10 to 12 reps. Smooth back down. Stretch. Up and squeeze like crazy. Smooth down. Up. Squeeze like crazy. And down we go. Boom. So that is our A2 exercise. Lying tricep extension, keeping the shoulders nice and tight and solid, flexing as hard as you can at the top, squeezing that tricep to maximum effect on every single rep before you release it. Grab a drink now, a little bit of a rest, and we're going to move on to our next 2 exercises. Okay, so we're moving on to our next 2 exercises, B1 and B2. Again, we're working biceps and triceps as a superset. I want you to do between 3 and 5 sets of this, depending on how you're feeling and your recovery. Now, we're going to play around with positions of flexion in order to maximize the variation of stimulus on the arms. So what I want you to do, again, you may need to be near a tree, a climbing frame, something that you can anchor this band to. We're going to start off with our bicep curls at a different position of flexion. So what I want you to do is wrap it around something, anything at about head height, okay? You can have a training partner hold this, but you have to have a lot of trust in that training partner. I don't suggest you do it with a friend who you know plays practical jokes on you. That wouldn't be smart. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take it as normal, thumbs facing us, and we're going to take one foot in front of the other to control our stance and make sure we're not moving backwards and forwards too much. What I want you to do is you're going to try and curl that band up towards your ears or your forehead area, squeeze for 2, and then return to full stretch. Okay, what we really want to try and feel is on the peak of the bicep here, flex it like crazy at the top, trying to maximize the tension on that muscle, okay? So, we're gonna go 10 reps with me. Find an anchor point. If you need to pause it for a second, then do, and then you can restart and go live with me. So in 3, 2, 1, 10 to 12 reps, we come up, we flex, and we pause. Stretch out slowly. We come up, we flex for 2 seconds. 2, and down. Up, squeeze. 1, 2, there's 3 reps. Up, squeeze. 1, 2, there's 4. Now notice that my elbows aren't dropping like this. They're staying up. If anything, I'm pushing them upwards. Up, squeeze, flex for 2, stretch out. Keep the elbows up, don't let them dip. Squeeze, flex, up, squeeze, maximum tension. Don't let the elbows drop. Keep the chest up, keep the body nice and stable. Stretch out, squeeze hard. I'm gonna go 3 more from here. Flex that bicep right in the peak. Stretch, squeeze, slowly down, last 2. Squeeze, flex, don't let the elbows drop. One more time. Squeeze, 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 and slowly back. Now, one of the other things you may not be able to see there is that I'm not letting my elbows kick out. I'm keeping them in parallel to one another, like so. We're not curling like that, okay? Now we're gonna move on to our B2 exercise, which is going to be a tricep pushdown. What we wanna do with that is we want to place the band. Again, we're gonna anchor it around something, but now you want to anchor it around something above your head. Okay, so again, this works quite nicely around a door frame, a tree, climbing frame, whatever. If you don't have anything quite high enough, you can also do this kneeling to give yourself a little bit of space. But for sake of staying in the camera, I'm gonna stay on. So what we're gonna do, take a few steps back away from the anchor point. We're gonna take a comfortable grip on that band. We're gonna pin our elbows into our side. Now it's important on this that we push the shoulder blades back and down into the center. So we're not overextended like this. We're not doing this. We're pulling our body into good posture, like so. And then we're gonna extend, squeeze, separate. So we pull them apart. I'll show you this from the front. We pull them apart in order to get maximum contraction. So once we've got our position with me, shoulder blades press down and back, chest up, and then down, flex. 1, 2 at the bottom, and slowly up. Down, flex. 1, 2, slowly up. 2, down, flex. 1, 2, there's 3. Same again. Squeeze at the bottom, and then slowly up. There's 4. Notice how I'm not swinging my body backwards and forwards like so. Everything is super smooth, super tight. I'm not letting my shoulders come forwards. I'm keeping everything exactly where it was on my first rep. Squeeze like crazy, smooth up, flex down, squeeze like crazy, smooth up, flex, squeeze like crazy. Just keep going. If you want to maximize attention, you can take a couple of extra steps back from that anchor point, keeping the chest up. Even when you start to get fatigued, you keep fighting to keep your posture. We're gonna go 2 more. Again, you're going 10 to 12 reps. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Everything is tidy. Every rep looks like the first, no matter how tired you get. And slowly up. Okay, so that is our B2 exercise, a triceps push down from a high anchor point. Take a quick rest now, grab a drink, and then we're gonna go back to our bicep curl at head height. I'm gonna do this, set this up live. You wanna be taking, for the most part, between 30 seconds and a minute between your rest periods on these. That should be enough for most. Enough time to get a drink, towel yourself off. So if you need to pause it, you can. If not, you just jump in with me, and that's usually gonna be about that time by the time we've set up the band, everything like that. So, band is set up at the anchor point about head height. We are gonna take our grip. Remember on this, our elbows are staying parallel to one another, not flaring out, and we're pushing the elbow up, if anything, rather than letting it drop down. So, in 3, 2, 1, we've got tension. We come up and squeeze, flex, and 2 down. Up, squeeze for 2 at the top, slowly down. Flex, squeeze at the top, slowly down. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Make those biceps work. Make sure you've got even tension on both of them. They're both working hard. Not just one. We're not twisting or favoring one arm versus the other. Halfway. Stretch and squeeze. Open it up. Stretch and squeeze. We're fully allowing the arm to stretch at the back. If you want an extra bit of stimulation, tense your triceps at that far end. Stretch out. We're going to go 2 more. Open it up. Squeeze 2 seconds at the top. Open it up. And then squeeze 2 seconds. Slowly back. That is our second set of our B1 exercise. Bicep curl at face height. Now, unhook your band. Take a rest if you need to. Fairly quick rest period on this one. We go into our B2 exercise, which is our triceps extension. Now again, remember, shoulder blades sit back and down. So we're always pulling it back into good posture, externally rotating somewhat. Keep the elbow pinned into the side. Squeeze as hard as possible as you come down to the bottom, and pause for 2. So we take a few steps back from the anchor point to maximize tension. In 3, 2, 1, down, flex hard, 2 seconds. Slowly back up. down, flex hard, 2 seconds, slowly back up, there's 2, down, squeeze like crazy, 3, smooth back up, down, squeeze like crazy, 4, nice and steady every single rep, 5, make them count. This is how we change, this is how we get results, by putting the intention in. Flex, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I'm gonna go for 4 more for luck, which I think takes us to 11. Slowly back up, down, flex like crazy, make the triceps work, make them work. Should be burning like mad from about rep 5. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Down, big, big squeeze, lock out, separate, separate, slowly back up and relax. 10 to 12 reps every single set. You decide how many you do. Just make sure you're working hard. Grab yourself a drink now before we go on to our last set. B1, face height curl, back onto B2, tricep push down, and then you're done. As I say, remember, we're looking for 3 sets as a minimum of each to 5 sets. This should be a workout that you can get done in about 30 minutes maximum, possibly a bit less. So bolt it onto your sessions twice per week. Now, let's go back in for set 3 of B1. Anchor point somewhere around the face, palms facing in, shoulder blades back, find your posture, and then with me, in 3, 2, 1, we squeeze up, flex, don't let the elbows drop, slowly back, there's 1, up, squeeze, keeping the elbows high, 2, stretch, up, squeeze, elbows high, 3, up, squeeze, 4, up, squeeze, 5, halfway, flexing those biceps as hard as possible, 6, we really want to try and feel a peak on the biceps, 7, if you find that you're feeling it too much in your back, it could be that you're too far back and you're not able to, so go forwards. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Go 3 more. Flex as hard as you can, squeeze those biceps. Remember, it's the last bicep exercise, so make it count. Smooth back, last 1. Up, squeeze, squeeze like crazy, and down. All right, unhook your band. That was our 3rd set of B1, face height bicep curl. Now we're gonna go in for our triceps extension, final one from an anchor point above head height. Grab yourself a drink in the meantime if you need to. It's important, as always, you've heard me say it before, you need to stay hydrated during your sessions. Want to be looking for your average hour-long session, about a litre and a half of water, ideally with some amplify in it to make sure your electrolyte balance stays true. So once we've got our position here, get everything into the right posture, shoulder blades pulled back and down, elbows in position, so you should feel a squeeze at the back. And then from here, we extend down and we separate, we pull them apart, and slowly back up, down, separate. 2 seconds at the bottom, down, separate, then slowly return. 3, down, separate, squeeze. 4, down, separate, pull in the bands apart with your wrists, not thinking about kicking your elbows out. Elbows stay fairly close to where they started. Down, squeeze, flex the triceps as hard as possible. Let's go 4 more. Down, squeeze as hard as you can, 2 seconds at the bottom. 3 more, down, squeeze, hard as possible, make them burn, make them work. Flex, 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 down. Last 1, hold, squeeze, 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 slowly back up, and then gradually tension off and shake it out. So, that was our B1, B2, face height bicep curl with an above head anchor point tricep extension. And the first ones was a standing bicep curl with a lying tricep extension. Now we've played with multiple different positions of flexion of both the bicep and the tricep. That's going to maximize stimulation of all different heads, all different parts of the bicep, and make sure you have good stability through the shoulders. Aim to do this maybe twice a week, 4 days apart, and then 3 to 4 days apart, looking for 3 to 5 sets maximum, depending on how you recover. If you find that you're getting weaker, it's because you're not recovering and you need to do either less sets or less frequency, probably less sets, because we are training your arms a lot in the sessions, even though it doesn't feel like it's direct arm training. Most of all, enjoy it, challenge yourself, push yourself with every single session, because remember, ultimately, that is what we're here for. We're here to work hard, create controlled stress on the body, and have it recover, repair, and come back better. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments box below, or ask me personally when you see me live in our workouts or elsewhere. Enjoy.